Thank you so much for joining me. I roll out some polymer clay in the color I want the bowl to be in. If you have a pasta roller, go ahead and use the 3rd or 4th setting. Then I wrap it around. Then I would be baking it. When it's done, you pop it off. You have to take a wet, dry sandpaper, submerge it. You have a little bit of water on it, and then you sand in a circle, like this, on the sandpaper, until your edges are completely flat. I start by putting a little translucent in the bottom of them when I make soups. Use a tiny bit of spiced pumpkin, which is powdered food coloring. Use the Fimo Deco Gel to add just a tiny bit of the powdered food coloring. You don't need very much. It lasts a long time, and it mixes much better than pastels. Put a little bit in the bottom. And then we bake it. I'm just going to bake it for 15 minutes. This is burnt umber. I can't remember what this pink color is. And half translucent, if not a little bit more than that. These are the 3 that I'm mixing. So I can add a touch more brown. I might even like adding just a touch of orange. 2016 was really rough. 2 family members to get cancer. My mom had to have a kidney removed. I ended up almost breaking my ankle and was in a boot for 8 weeks. For the color of the carrots, I like having some orange with some yellow and translucent. I usually add a tiny bit of the red or crimson, richen it up a little bit. So here you see some translucent. Spanish olive. It's just a tiny bit of green that I'm using here for all of that translucent. So it's about an equal amount of each. And the main thing you want to make sure it is mostly translucent here. And you don't even necessarily have to mix this all completely together, because it looks nice when there's some streaks. A potato color, which is actually mostly translucent again. A little bit of white, a little bit of ecru. So I have just a little bit of each. And I ground some black pepper and white pepper. For the cabbage, I take tiny, thin little pinches. And then I take a pin and I push, creating very soft ridges. I lift very carefully with the pin. For the corned beef, I do more rectangular shape. I drag the needle tip across. And then I remove that the same way. Don't do this on your fingers at home, but basically I create small squares for the potato. For the carrots, I take a small pinch with my fingernail. There we go, baby carrot. Paint a little bit more of your liquid Fimo. So once I'm done making the bottom wet, then I can start placing pieces. I'll put lettuce in, some corned beef, carrot, potato, just kind of mix things around. You might not want to put too much, but organize it how you feel comfortable. Have the liquid gel on it, wet it, cook it again. It's come out of the oven, and again, I will wet the bottom. We can place the rest. I try not to overlap the meat too much. Make sure to cover the new vegetables. And then I make sure to put in a little bit of the spices on top. A little bit of the pepper. And then we'll bake this again. I take a water-based craft varnish and paint just the top portion where the soup is. So that way we get that wet look once it dries.